At the T-minus 3-minute mark, tape recorders on board the spacecraft were turned on. These recorders record both voice and data. The added mission sequence starts. The engine's now building up to 7.7 million pounds of thrust. We have a launch commit and we have a liftoff. Moving back. The Saturn V lifting off with power.
This is WOMMLP operating out of Burlington, Vermont, 105.9 The Radiator. Good evening, it's the Rocket Shop. I'm your host, Tom Proxer, and with me tonight it's Couchsleepers. Hello.
How's it going?
Well, I say Couchsleepers, it is the lead singer, Harrison,
me tonight, yeah.
of Couchsleepers. We always like starting off with a song, so what have you got for us?
Sure. This is the most recent piece we put out. It's called All I Want. Walking after sundown, casting through the lamplight. Your hair was tangled with the shadow. My hands were shaking from the cold. Far away beside me, thinking we were alright. You smiled a private satisfaction and missed the quiet glance I stole. And baby, that is all. That's all I want. That's all I want. That's all I want. And maybe that is all. That's all I want. That's all I want. You're all I want. Quiet kind of Friday, watching you watch TV. The heavy heads are quick to lie down. You slept unburdened by my side, hiding in my pillow, whispering the night right. I pour desire into the darkness. The darkness answered me right back. And maybe that is all. That's all I want. 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 You're all I want. But what will you want when you have got me? You won't want me anymore. I'm lost in my thoughts to keep you wanting, and I write these songs to keep you wanting more. Twisting through my fingers, asking if I'm alright. You spied a private kind of sadness. I hold my tongue to draw you in.
All I Want There by Couchsleepers. So, Couchsleepers, it's emerged out of your previous band, The Giant Peach.
That's right.
So, tell me a little bit about history about Couchsleepers, and tell us a little bit about how Giant Peach.
Sure,
moved
how
into
did
it.
we get here?
Yeah.
Okay, I was one of those kids who always played music in their bedroom and really never anywhere else. And finally got to my senior year at Middlebury College, and I was like, okay, I've got some songs. I'm pretty sure they're not trash, and I wanted to put them out into the world. So I got some friends together, and we made this record. It was a lot of fun. The songs kind of were trash. They were the first songs I'd ever written. And it was the first band I'd ever had. But we got some opportunities. We got to play out a bit. We got some attention. So it was exciting. And we pretty much did it all wrong every step of the way, as best we could. And about a year later, I joined another band that used to be local to Vermont called Fever Dolls. Now they're down in New York. And I was working with Evan Alice, the guy behind that. And he's such a... he has such a clear vision for the project. And I was standing up there on stage with the Fever Dolls. They just sold out this show. And everybody was singing every word of the songs. They were all so excited to be there. And I thought, this is actually really cool. I'd like to do this. And so with a little bit of help from my new friends, the Fever Dolls, and all the mistakes that I'd already made, I thought, let's try this again. Let's do something new. And Couchsleepers was a name I'd had since I was in high school. Like a pretty nocturnal creature by nature, although I try to fight it so I can do things like have a job. But in high school, it used to be the only time I could be productive writing songs. It'd be like 5 a.m, everybody's asleep. It's totally still, and I'm the only thing that's moving. And then I'd wake up, a couple hours later on the couch downstairs where I'd fallen asleep. And so that's where the name came from, and then sort of grew with me to take on this more romantic unrest. And now that we're on the road, I mean,
yeah,
I'm lucky if I can sleep on a couch, but we're often sleeping on couches. And so we thought it was time to sort of regroup and approach this with clarity and direction, and to take it a little bit more seriously. And these songs are the first batch of the Couchsleepers songs. Well,
I can certainly say that it's noticeable how much more polished, and don't mind me saying, the songs from the Giant Peach in comparison to Couchsleepers does sound a lot more professional, a lot tighter.
Thank you.
I was wondering, you mentioned there was a few mistakes you made with the Giant Peach. Care to divulge what mistakes you thought they were and how you are approaching it differently now?
Yeah, I think we weren't proceeding with any sort of idea where we were going. We were just moving down a road, so we thought. Actually, I think we were just walking in circles. And some of that was not really knowing what the idea we were putting out into the world was, not really knowing what our audience was, or having a clear direction musically. There's a lot of different musical backgrounds that came together with my band. I have a wonderful band, really, really talented musicians from many different disciplines, and that's part of the richness and the texture of Couchsleepers is that we've got people from classical backgrounds and blues backgrounds, and the pretend jazzers like me. And we were not really throwing that together in a cohesive way. So I think that was one element of it. There was at some point in college, we played a couple of the Bach inventions during the middle of a set, an indie rock set. Very weird. And the other part of it was just the more procedural part of being a musician, booking gigs. I didn't know what I was doing. We record our own stuff, and we did it in a dorm room, and we got something out of it, but it was a little bit messier. And so just sort of learning that, going through the growing pains of trying to figure out how to be a musician, which I'm still doing. But hopefully we can sit here in a year and you'll tell me that the stuff I was doing last time I was here sounded a lot worse than what I'm doing today. So.
Well, it's still to say that Giant Peach still sounded pretty good, but you do sound like you're progressing a lot. And it's great to hear. And I'd love to know a little bit more about this record that you created. So you said this is the first batch that's coming out.
Sure.
So that makes it sound like there's certainly more on the way. What was it like recording, getting back in the studio, and what can we see that's going to be coming up?
We've got a record. We've been sitting on it for a year and a half now, which is good. I've never done that before, so I can finally feel confident in the songs that we're putting out into the world, because it's been a year and I still kind of like them. So that's good. We've recorded this album 3 times now, which I think my brother would call the artist condition, not knowing when to let something be done. But it is done now. And part of that was the change with the sound that came with becoming Couchsleepers. But also these songs, I thought they came out of a important time in my life, really some of the worst years of my life. which means they're very special and valuable. And so I wanted to do them justice. And so we actually did get into the studio for the first time. We recorded a couple of the drums at Future Fields. Really awesome experience there. It's one of the vibiest places in Burlington, other than maybe right here at Big Heavy World. And the rest of it followed pretty easily because we'd played the songs so much, we'd had them for so long, and they were all written in the same couple of months. And so there are a lot of pervasive themes lyrically, as far as loneliness and the sort of romantic element. And also musically, we're able to tie them together. So there are some repeated motifs, some lyrical fragments that pop up, a lot of tooth metaphors. And yeah, I mean, that's the project. It's called Only When It's Dark. It's vespertine and nocturnal and sort of in this weird dreamland.
So there's a plan to release a few tracks every now and then, or is at some point the whole album's going to be out?
We've been doing a track a month or so. We mixed it up this month. We did a music video. We've got 2 more that we're going to put out, and then the full album. Hopefully, I think that'll be probably February or March by that time. And then it's on to the next songs because there's now a backlog of music. So got lots of stuff to put out.
Is it going to be straight out? Because this started coming out in November, I want to say.
Yeah, I think late October.
And so is it going to be as soon as the last track on this album is out, you're going to be recording the first track in the next album? Yeah,
we're already on it.
Oh, wow.
I've sent some songs. My brother is a really talented producer by the name of Public Library Commute. He's on a national tour right now with this group Surfaces. Go check out Public Library Commute. And so I'm excited to finally be collaborating with my brother. He's going to be producing some of these tracks for us. I think now that by the time these songs come out, we'll put out some tunes. So it will then be our chance to get a little bit weird and experiment a little bit more. So we're going to be mixing it up a little bit. It's going to be a lot more collaborative, which is good because that's usually where the magic moments come from in the band.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to hear another track. What have you got for us?
Sure. This song is going to come out on the 3rd of January, 2020. It's called Half the Night. And it features a great guitar solo by my best friend, Max Joshua, who is not with us today. So I'm going to do my best approximation. You've hung through all, I can just see your chest rise and fall in through holes that I've dug for myself. Is it half the night gone? Spend half the night hoping I'm wrong. What's going on in that head of yours, darling? Is there some dream you can take me on? What's going on in your head? If you knew what I'm thinking, you turn around. Just tell me you love me now. Tell me I don't need to worry something I wanted to ask what you meant when you said that you want to try harder than this. Was there something that I should have said? What's going on in that head of yours, darling? Why do I feel like there's something wrong? What's going on in your head? If you knew what I'm thinking, you turn around. Please, baby, turn around. Tell me I don't need to worry at all. Lying awake after half the night spent, now I turn to the wall. I guess I'll finally give up, but that's just when you pull me in close. You whisper you sleep worse without me, and I close my eyes.
It's a new track from Couchsleepers there, coming out on January 3rd.
January 3rd.
January 3rd. And that was Turnaround?
It's called Half the Night.
Half the Night.
Turnaround does make an appearance, though.
There we go. That's probably where I got that idea from. And you were saying just before that lovely track, you'll be getting a bit more experimental in the studio, especially now you're going to be collaborating with your brother.
Yeah, I hope so.
I was wondering how the creative experience of Giant Peach has morphed with Couchsleepers, and then kind of where that's going from there.
I think time has been a big, it's been a major component in how our process has shifted. I think when I was writing songs for the Giant Peach, they were the only songs I'd ever written. And so every song had to be out and to new ears as quickly as possible. I think I was craving that validation that came from other people hearing a song and saying, hey, that sounds like music. But not every song that I write is a good song. In fact, most songs that I write are really bad. And learning to take the time to figure out which ones are bad and find out why they're bad, and which ones are good and why they're good and what works about them has been instrumental. And then there's a really long demoing process now. I spent a lot of time recording scratch tracks by myself in my bedroom and doing all sorts of things to them and trying to figure out what happens, what needs to happen. And then once you've got songs, you can sit with them and see where do these songs resonate with one another and what can be repeated. To pull from what we're doing now, that last song, that's just when you pull me in close, you tell me you sleep worse without me, and I close my eyes. That sentiment appears in another song called Sleepless, which we'll release after this one. I sleep much worse without you, babe. I sleep much worse without you. Which is maybe missing its emotional impact on its own, but yeah, that kind of echo in the music has become something that I think I'm interested in, and I'm trying to pay attention to and find. So, sitting with songs, taking the time to look at them, that's been important.
almost like a canon with the kind of songwriting that
Sure.
these things just keep on reappearing, like characters maybe.
Yeah, I'd love that. Thematic. It's like a leitmotif, like in
Mm.
Star Wars, you know. Bum
Right.
bum 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 ba-da.
Right.
I've been really into screenwriting lately, not as a pursuit, just as a sort of pastime, reading screenplays. And somebody was saying that in a scene, what you need is a change in polarity. There's either information that's given or the emotional charge of the scene changes by the end of it, but something changes in the polarity of it. And I think that songs are scenes. They're not, like the song isn't the whole movie, you know? But the album, that could be.
Mm.
Or a discography. So hopefully a song is just an introduction to this world.
Mm. Has the album got an overall kind of theme or character to it?
It's one of those breakup albums again. Love, I think everybody writes about love. It's a really easy subject to write about, or an easy lens to see through sometimes, because it's so salient to everybody, right? We all fall in love and have our hearts broken, whether it's with a person or an idea or something else.
Are you gonna need to break up to make the third album as well?
That's the concern, right? This is clearly not an emotionally healthy lifestyle.
We had a band on last week, and it was a good friend of mine, a guy called Chris Farnsworth, and in his own Tinder profile, he's like, "I need to hook up with you so you can break my heart in 6 months, so I can continue to write songs." Yeah, not sustainable living though. I don't feel.
Yeah, I've been trying to. I've definitely been trying to introspect on that a little bit and see where it's kind of like volleyball. You know, if you try to serve in volleyball and you think that it's not going to go in, it's definitely not going to go in. And there's some aspect of that to romantic relationships, I think, too, or friendships, whatever. Any sort of pursuit, you need to have a good frame of mind. But this is a rich life that we live, and there are a lot of things to be taken just from the texture of everyday life. So I've been trying to find. I'm convinced that I have more stories to tell than just those that are isomorphic to my own experience. So I'm trying to pull from my past experiences and see what can be mined there and get away from just telling duplications of what's happened in real life.
That's the reason why everyone thinks about it, though. I mean, it's a very universal feeling, or universal feelings. So you just mentioned earlier that Couchsleepers is more now of an apt name for you because you're on the road quite a lot, sleeping on lots of couches. You've just come off a small tour, I believe in New York, Philly, New Haven.
Yeah, that's great.
Tell us a little bit about the tour, and is this going to be continuing from this point?
For sure. We've been hitting the road whenever we can. The band is sort of scattered across the U.S. right now. And so it's actually easier for us to get together in certain places, especially if they're all in like the tri-state area. And that's been really, really fun. It's nice to travel, see all your friends. And it's always really exciting to play to new ears. We've been having a good time. It's nice to now be going to those cities for not just the first time. So there's a little bit of familiarity there. And yeah, we're hoping to tour a bunch. I don't know what there is to say about it. I don't get to run as much on tour. There's a lot of driving involved.
Is there any favored city so far that's kind of popped out?
Ooh, New York is fun. New York's great because there's so many people there, and I think you can always count on somebody to show up, even if you don't expect them. It's been really cool to see people I didn't know were paying attention to our music coming out.
I was gonna say, is going on tour really widening your fan base? Is it getting your name out there a lot better than obviously staying in Burlington?
I hope so. It's nice in any regard just to travel and see people, but yeah, I think so. I was talking to a friend of mine who's in a much more successful band, and he was saying that for them it started many, many years ago, and they just played shows after show after show, and you have to do it. It's slow incremental progress, right? You have to win a fan. And if you do that for years and years and years, suddenly you've got a lot of fans. I think that's that's what we're doing. I don't know. We go out, we play music. Hopefully somebody hears it, it resonates with them, and they come along for the ride.
Yeah. I checked out your Spotify, and there's certainly quite a fair few people listening to your tracks on there. So
Yeah, that's nice.
fingers crossed that it will continue.
Yeah, likewise.
We've got about time for one more song, but before you play us out, have you got anything you'd like to plug?
Sure. Listen to our music and check out our music video. We got more music coming, and be excellent to one another. Tell your parents you love them. Have a nice holiday season.
Any Facebook, Instagram handles?
Sure.
we should know
It's
about?
Couchsleepers everywhere. If you remember the name, you can find us on any platform. And if you like it, share it. It's the best thing you can do. So be part of this slow incremental progress.
And
without you.
lastly, any upcoming dates?
Upcoming dates, I'm playing Christmas music at Arts Riot on Friday. A little holiday extravaganza. There are going to be a lot of really amazing artists there. I'm going to be covering Wham! Last Christmas, which is the song where they really earned the exclamation point. And other than that, we got a couple local dates in January. We're planning another small tour after the release of this album. So there's plenty of stuff coming up. Follow us online to find out more.
Well, it's lovely having you in. And what have you got to play us out?
Yeah, nice to be back here. All right, this is In My Head. We just put out the music video for this song. It's usually a lot more upbeat. I think I saw you last night for about the 1000th time. I was waiting by the balcony when you went walking by. I thought I saw something soften when you stopped and met my eye. Then I woke up to the cold bed. It's the same thing every night. You'd always wake before me, but sometimes I just can't sleep. I would wake to you beside me and just watch you grind your teeth. And you'd be sleeping with your rings on in my old faded band. I just wanted to feel close to you. Babe, that's all I ever need. So don't you think this is getting out of hand? It's been 6 months now without you, but I still feel like your man. So I'll toss and I'll turn and I'll take what I can get. I'll see you soon, babe. I'll see you sooner in my head tonight. Counting forward to a future I can't hack. Sometimes I hope we'll be together, 'cause I'm always looking back. And there's 1,000 different reasons that's fucked up, and I know that. I just wanted to feel close to you. Babe, I always want you back. So don't you think this is getting out of hand? It's been 6 months now without you, but I still feel like your man. So I'll toss and I'll turn and I'll take what I can get. I'll see you soon, babe. I'll see you sooner in my head tonight. In my head, in my head. In my head.
Couchsleepers there. Thank you once again for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Always a pleasure.
Me.
Come in next time when you the next album drops as well.
Sure.
Every
Love
time you get
to.
bigger, I want you to come back.
Oh, we will.
So stick around. We've got Beethoven coming up in just a minute. We'll be right back.